All right. Well, Madhav, great to have you here and thanks for doing this. Why don't we start with you saying your name and where you're from and where you live now?
Definitely good to be here, Chris. Madhav Srinath is my name. I like to say modify without the Y is the pronunciation. I've told your team that. um, where I'm from is kind of loaded, but I'll say I'm in Austin, Texas now. I was in Atlanta before, and then I was in Singapore before that, and came from India in the very beginning. So I've been kind of in many different places, and I like to think that that diversity has followed me all the way to Austin and has really given me a lot of diversity of thought to everything I approach.
That's cool. And it's cool that you lived in Singapore also. I don't hear that every day. Um, so what is your business and what makes you passionate about it?
My business was born among COVID times. So now that we're kind of looking to see the light at the end of the tunnel, um, it's great, but it's also one of those things that I look back at my business and I think, I don't know if I would have gone about and done this if not for COVID, in a way. So it's kind of interesting how that comes about. And so my business, the name is NexusLeap. We're currently just a consulting organization, and our main mission is to empower organizations to embrace artificial intelligence. AI is a term that's thrown around a lot these days, and one of the things that we try to do is try to really distill what AI is, because it's kind of like saying technology, or it's like saying math, right? It's too broad a term to say we're using AI, right? But rather it's like, well, what does AI really allow companies to do? It's to become prescriptive, right? And become proactive rather than reactive. I think that's where companies are moving towards more and more. And you'll see all this direction from companies that say, if we don't have AI, we're going to fall behind. The reality is, if they're not proactive, they're going to fall behind, right? So the whole point that we're trying to do is, it came about with food services. That's really where I was like, there's a lot of potential to apply artificial intelligence to wrangle all the complexity and nuances that go into distributing food and getting it to us, right? The end consumer. Starting there, I mean, I've had consulting experience for a long time, and it took off from there, and we're being able to provide so much impact. Took us from, we're 5 full-time now, and we that's just from less than a year of growth. So I hope that continues on.
Yeah, that's terrific. Wow. Great growth in just less than a year of time. And what are some outside of food service, what are some practical implications of AI that you've done with your clients? Like what's a real world example where you've talked to a client and then helped them embrace AI?
Definitely. I mean, one really quick one is like planning for staffing,
Hmm.
planning for labor. you know just to kind of get into it at a high level, this is something that almost everyone is eventually tasked with, right? Especially business owners. We work in the supply chain space really, but this applies everywhere. With some idea of volume, right? Some way of recognizing the I guess the tasks that need to be done. There's kind of then this intention to staff whoever can get those tasks done, right?
Hmm.
A lot of times it comes from tribal knowledge. The people who end up doing it have been doing it for a long time. They're able to take that tribal knowledge and apply it, right? To say, about December time, we're going to get all these orders in. We got to make sure everyone's staffed up and it can account for those orders. The reality is, when we accumulate the data in the right way, we're able to actually look at that, look past, you know, events that have occurred over, I don't know, over a couple of years or whatever it might be, recognize the patterns in those events, and then use those patterns to better predict what's going to happen next. You know, at the end of the day, artificial intelligence is really trying to gather patterns and then apply it in the future, right? It uses obviously math under the scenes to do that, but I think that's one practical application, Chris, where if I want to staff out properly over like the next year or so, how can I look at my past data and do that effectively? You know?
Yeah. Well, that's great. And I think that's the kind of thing that, a lot of business owners may not be thinking about, maybe in the, food service industry or in the supply chain space. They're thinking about the here and the now, and then you can help them evaluate the past and find those patterns enough so to put infrastructure in place to accommodate patterns using technology as a way to help them get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
So I think that makes a lot of sense. And so a question I've been asking folks is, how can others help you with your business? Now, obviously, all of us could use more customers, but what else? Advisors, investors, strategic partners, friends, what are you looking for? What are you roadblocked by? And how can the community help you?
Good question, Chris. Yeah, I mean, of course, any growing business is going to look at consumers. Um, I actually don't really look at that as an area I need help in. I feel like this is a pretty prevalent problem, and as long as we can prove that we're capable of solving it, I think we'll be in a pretty good place for customers. A couple of things. I mean, I think a couple of things I honestly need help in is we are very niche in what we do, and therefore when we find partners that have another niche that they're just, tearing up and they're crushing it in, it's a perfect opportunity for us to maybe come in and offer kind of a comprehensive package while being complementary to each other, you know? So one of the first things I'm looking for is just a diverse set of partners that are also people with high conviction, and really care about the problems they're solving and the impact that they're kind of bringing about to the community and the world at large. I think that's the first thing I'm looking for, Chris, is partners like that. Even if we don't do business together, I think that's where what I found through my many, I mean, not many years, but my years of kind of being in different places, but diversity of thought's everything. As much as I might think that a specific way is the way to do it, I'm learning every single day from people in different areas, doing different things, but maybe trying to have the same kind of impact on people, you know?
Yeah, I like that. Well, surrounding yourself with smart people in other niche specialties is a great way to learn. I love, for example, as a tech person, talking with, say, retail founders and thinking about the world of retail, because physical products is just totally different. But anyone who does business, has much of the same fundamentals in play, just thinking about them in a different way. So I hear you on surrounding yourself with those types of folks. So lastly, how would you say others can connect with you? How can they learn about you or your business or connect with you yourself?
I mean, Chris, I got to say, you've been doing an excellent job of connecting us. So the first thing I'd say is connect with Chris, and they'll connect all of us with everyone else. Secondly, I mean, I'm sure those of you who have interacted with me so far, I really genuinely like meeting new people. So any LinkedIn connection that comes across, of course, some people have agendas, and that's also okay. I'm completely okay with that. But I think LinkedIn is just easy. I review every single connection, to see if there's something fun that can come out of it. Whether it's a partnership, a joint kind of venture together, or just a conversation. I think LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to immediately connect with me. That's probably where I'm probably most vocal. I'm not into, although I kind of, am on Instagram. I don't really use it much. And Astronomic, Chris, let's connect through that,
That sounds great. And so if you were gonna, if you spell out your name again for folks finding you on LinkedIn, I'll also link it. I'll link it when I put up this post.
Perfect.
But is it your full name? LinkedIn.com/in/Madhav?
That's my full name. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Great. All right. Well, I'll direct folks to connect with you there. This was great that you did this. Thanks for participating, Madhav. Great to hear your story and your background and your interest in connecting with others.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Chris. Looking forward to being an active member of the community.
Sounds great. All right. Take care.